Certainly a man befitting a montage. Talent unmatched, energy unrivaled, the incomparable Nate Burleson joining us on HQ. Nate, how's that for a hello? Did that do it?
It's good to join you. I know the season hasn't officially started, but you are in playoff mode with that suit, my brother, looking very good. Looking very good.
Well, that's high praise from the man himself. I got to say, if we want to keep clothing being the theme here, watching you share your light across all these roles has been a joy, but when I close my eyes, I still see 13 in Honolulu blue. So that's where I want to start. Last year, those Lions, they met and then exceeded expectations, but to look up at that mountain and climb it again is another thing. What does that journey look like when you picture the Lions this season?
You know, it's tough for a team that has exercised so many demons to be able to dominate like they did, get so close to the Super Bowl, and then bounce back and find that motivation again. Listen, as a Detroit Lion, there are so many seasons that we were motivated by all of these things, the disrespect of the league, people looking at us as their homecoming game, all of these different criticisms that we faced as the team that no one expected anything from. But now that you are one of the best teams, you aren't hunting, you're the hunted. How do you find that balance between, oh, we're still pissed off, we still want to go out there and prove ourselves, but also we're a pretty damn good team. You know, what I do like about this offseason is they made some decisions over the last couple of years to lock in some key guys. Of course, they want to make sure that Goff was their quarterback. He's been doing his thing since he's been traded. And let's keep it real. He got traded for Stafford. Stafford went to the Rams, won himself a Super Bowl. People didn't think that Jared Goff was going to dig himself up out of the grave. They were like, oh, he's going to Detroit. That's the graveyard for the rest of his career. He'll probably retire an oblivious quarterback. No. On the contrary, he's been balling. So they locked him in. Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a sign to your squad. When you're giving your best players deals and extending them and saying, we're going to lock in some key figures, I think they're playing for right now. And by right now, I mean win a Super Bowl right now. But it's going to be tough, though, because regardless of what you say about that division, there are some superstars that we're familiar with and some up-and-coming superstars in the NFC North. So it isn't going to be some easy road to the Super Bowl for the Lions.
You know, they say dogs look like their owners sometimes. I got a thing that teams look like their coaches, and that's a team
that's a fact.
That looks like their coach. They have bought in and they believe, and they're going to be a tough out any week under Dan Campbell. Let's talk about the North, because it's an even taller task in their own backyard than it was a year ago. Coming of age across much of that division, the Packers were essentially 30 minutes from meeting the Lions in that title game a year ago. A growing belief in Chicago for my Bears, I got to say it. It's in the first overall and everything around them. And then producer Rich's Vikings, well, I guess we don't have to go there right now. But what do you see being the discerning factor between all that talent in the North this year?
You know, shout out to producer Rich, one of the best in the business. We go way, way, way back. We've always shared that connection with my stint with the Vikings. Mm-hmm. So, you know, let's start there, though. You know that Justin Jefferson is an absolute monster. He has an opportunity to go for the Triple Crown. We're talking catches, yards, and touchdowns. But for me, it's not about his talent. It's about who's throwing him the ball. Kirk Cousins, we're looking for him early and often every single game. So it's going to be a little different dynamic, him having a new QB throwing him the rock. And then moving on to Jordan Love and the Packers, you know, I've been hearing a lot of buzz about Jordan Love being a potential MVP candidate. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not there yet. I do feel like he's easily a QB that can work his way into the top 10 conversation, but saying he's going to be MVP caliber, he's going to have to start the season off hot and then continue that through 17 weeks. Now, the Bears. This might be the most thrilling and exciting team in all of football. You know, what we saw in the preseason, even though it was like that Costco sample size of Caleb Williams, it still was enough to get us excited. Everybody was like, oh, no, I don't need another sample. No, give me the whole damn box. Yeah, I'm sold on that. What we saw in college is what we saw a little bit and what we've seen in practice. Listen, both of my sons now go to Nevada Reno. 2 years ago, so my oldest, Nate's freshman year, they went to USC. I was able to see it in real time. And I'm sitting there on the sideline. I'm like, all right, let me see what this Caleb Williams dude is all about. And man, he got the ball in a shotgun, full pressure. He's doing what you're seeing right now, moving out to the left, throwing across his body, absolute dime. He did that time after time again in this game. And I left thinking to myself, he's for real. Now you're seeing it in the NFL. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a young Russell Wilson. You remember when Russell Wilson was magical in the pocket. And dare I say it, Caleb Williams might be slightly more athletic, I believe a little bit taller. So he might have that Russell Wilson-esque magic when it comes to extending the pocket when it breaks down, because inevitably it will break down. This is the NFL. So you got guys coming off the edge running 4-4, 4-5, 4-6. He's going to get pockets that are extremely cramped and collapsing in front of him. But when he has that ability to move outside the pocket for a wide receiver, let me just break it down for everybody why we all get so excited about quarterbacks that can run. And this is why the Chicago Bears fan base is so excited, because you have a guy that can not only run, but when he leaves the pocket, he's not looking to get the first down with his legs. That's the last resort. He's looking for the wide receiver. So imagine me coming out of my route and I'm running a curl route right towards you, right towards the camera. And I look at the QB and all of a sudden he breaks the pocket. He's spinning to the right. Now I'm going to put my foot in the ground. I see him. He sees me. I'm taking my course back upfield. That's a sideline pass deep. It's hard enough to stop a starting wide receiver running one route. Now imagine if he's running two. That's why the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs offense has been good for so long, because what used to be scramble rules that rarely happen in the NFL game is now something that these teams practice. When the quarterback like Caleb Williams, don't be surprised that you'll see those broken plays turn into big-time highlights all season long.
I'm not going to say LOB, but certainly a compliment and a defense there in Chicago
Facts.
for the rookie quarterback, just as a young Russell Wilson had when he came into Seattle. You got me going now talking about some wide receiver
I'm excited
play.
too, man.
Not just those Bears, but when you get to talking tape on wideout stuff, I mean, as a former D3 slot guy, you're speaking my language. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that wideout economy a little bit in today's NFL, because demand has certainly highlighted this offseason. We saw the most recent one met with Brandon Ayuk, but supply is no shortage either. There's playmakers all over the place. Having played that position at the highest level, what do you look for when you watch wideout play of that caliber? And who's a guy maybe you could see playing himself into that upper echelon this year?
You know, I used to be your traditional wide receiver that thought guys slightly bigger than me, that were big, fast, and strong, were your prototypes. And that's because I played with Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson. But then the more that I looked at the league and how it was changing and evolving, those shorter guys that used to play slot, running back, and even DB are now being wide receiver playmakers for their teams. I mean, look at Tyreek Hill. So, yeah, you can go get you a tall, long, statuesque wide receiver, but when you find a guy like Tyreek Hill who runs a 4.3, maybe even a 4.2, can climb the ladder and catch the ball with his chest, his hands, and take hits while running past everybody, it has changed the way that offenses look for playmakers. So he's number one on my list right out the gate. An interesting guy is also Stephon Diggs. What's going to happen with the Houston Texans? He's a guy that he loves being targeted, and he's been successful over the course of his career because he's had QBs that would toss the rock to him a lot throughout the season. But it's tough, though, when you have Nico Collins and Tank Dell, guys that are legit, and they were legit without him. I think if they can find some balance where everybody is all in on this offense, there's not one man above the squad, they can go in and really give defenses fits, because you're coming in trying to figure out who you're going to stop. And not to mention they got good tight end play, running back play with the quarterback and CJ Stroud that can also run and throw the ball. So that's an interesting dynamic, and it could shape out to be the best wide receiver core, the Houston Texans. Make sure you mark that down. A couple other guys that stand out, Malik Neighbors. You know, what I've seen from him and what I'm hearing out of camp, I mean, he's going to be a guy, if they can get the ball to him, he's just going to open up the Giants offense. And then Xavier Worthy, a speedster. He might be the fastest guy in a Chiefs jersey since Tyreek Hill left. And they've been looking for that guy to kind of fill in that place along with the playmakers that they already have. And the last dude I'll mention that could just immediately make his name like one of the more recognizable ones when it comes to playmakers, Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, you got Kyler Murray, who is motivated like never before. He understands the criticism, the injuries has really pushed him out of the conversation of an elite quarterback. He wants to go out there and prove that he's a guy worth his money and possibly another deal down the line. And he has a big, tall wide receiver that did it on a high level in college and now could soon be the number one target in a team that really needs him to make some plays to take the pressure off of Kyler. So those are my list of wideouts that I'm keeping my eye on.
Hey, in this household, we pass to set up the run and not vice versa.
That's a fact.
We always remember that. We couldn't be more excited for September 8th, Nate. It's going to be an awesome season, and we know you're going to be at the forefront of it. The team with the NFL Today primed to get the stage set every Sunday, all season long. Yeah. Like any new team with new personnel, there's that gelling period, but I see you guys already on social media looking like, feeling like family. What's got you most excited about the group that you're rolling into this season with?
You know, it's tough, man, because to keep it real, you know, I love Boom, I love Phil. You know, so you feel for the guys that you started with. And those are my OGs, my mentors, guys that embraced me. So I'm doing the same thing for JJ and for Matt Ryan. Listen, JJ is a beast. I'll just tell you straight, JJ can do whatever he wants. Like JJ can be an actor in any movie. He can go be a mayor or a governor in Texas. Like this dude has the gravitas to really do whatever he wants. And he's deciding to spend some of his Sundays with us. So I feel extremely blessed. And he's a dude's dude that is a defensive guy, but understands the offense side of the ball. And when he gets going, as far as like how we watch the games and him get the popping his ish, if you know what I mean, like it makes our show better. Now, Matt Ryan, I gotta be all the way real with you. I didn't know Matt Ryan enough to know what he brings to the table, if you know what I'm saying. All I knew was this quarterback that played in Atlanta, that was part of one of the best offenses, cool as hell, respected by his teammates. But I had no idea that his personality was bigger than life. I've spent some dinners, some lunches, we did some photo shoots together, and I believe the best place for Matt Ryan is the studio. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a reintroduction to the world like never before, and he adds so much to our team. Matt Ryan is a cool mother, shut your mouth. I'm telling you, listen, we've been kicking it, and I'm just like, bro, I'm blown away. He's funny. He's passionate. He got some grit to him, and he loves the game. So with that dynamic, of course, still with the OGs of Bill Cowher and James Brown, this show is going to be bigger, better than ever. Oh, and the backdrop, by the way, is the star players of the NFL. We have the best quarterbacks that we are going to cover this year. We're going to see what Harbaugh is going to do down with the Chargers. We got the Chiefs a ton, a bunch of QBs that we'll be showing each week. I just think the league is better. And listen, I don't want to be this cocky guy that's like, our show is the best. But you know what? At some point, you got to put your fingerprints all on it and write your name right under it. And I just feel like this year, with the teams that we are going to cover and the characters that are on each team, the NFL today will have its best year, and we will dominate your pregame Sunday because we're going to offer you the best takes. We have a little bit of the old, the new, and the young, and it's going to be fresh and fun every single Sunday.
It is the 65th season of the NFL on CBS, and quite a team we are rolling into it with. The great Nate Burleson, I'd wish you luck, but talent always wins out, my guy. Have a great season.
I appreciate you. Let's do this again, all right?
Absolutely. This year, our award-winning team going to bring you more than 100 regular season games. The NFL on CBS. And when each one goes final, you can find us right here on HQ. Full highlights, reaction, post-game pressers, and a trip into the booth each and every Sunday. It's the NFL on CBS, and it's coming soon.